Hello, Rebels. Garrett Robinson here, independent author of the Realm Keeper series, the upcoming novel Rebel Yell, the Touch trilogy, Non-Zombie 1 and 2, the Ninja Bread Men, Hit Girls, and currently the fantasy serialized adventure Nightblade, currently on its fourth episode. A new episode releases every Friday at noon. This is my show, VlogaNovel, where I live create my books currently. Again, Nightblade. But I create my books live on streaming YouTube video on this channel. Everything from outlining to writing the first draft, editing, and formatting and publication all takes place on live streaming video. If you're a writer, you may enjoy watching the process. If you're a reader who enjoys the series, you may enjoy all kinds of extra behind-the-scenes foo technical publishing industry terminology for it. Let's get started. We are narrating the audiobook, which also, every time I narrate the audiobook, it also serves as my final read-through, because when I read my book out loud for the last time before sending it to wide publication, I always find just a couple titsy little things that I want to change. So that's what the purpose of this is. A couple things to know really quick. First, if you want this book, if you want to buy it, you can do it in the blue section of the screen below my face. There's a link there, garrettbrobinson.com/nb-4. And you can get it there. And if you haven't read anything of this series yet, you can find that at the other link in the blue section of the screen there, garrettbrobinson.com/nb-1. That first episode is free on all platforms. You can download it on Kindle, on iBooks, on Nook, on Kobo. Pretty much everywhere. Other sites as well, but I can only have so many buttons, you know what I mean? So there you go. What do you call it? Yeah, so that's the link to get that. So let's begin narrating this book. I do all of my raw audio recording in Audacity. Now, you may notice when I start recording this, you're going to be like, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to be like, well, that sounds like shit. I wouldn't buy that audiobook. That is because I am broadcasting to YouTube, and when I go... the recording that is happening on my computer is of extremely high quality. It's very nice. This is a beautiful microphone, and it sounds very good. And then I will take that and I will mix it. I will take out some of the background noise and make my voice sound deep and rich and like I'm speaking to you from a stadium, trying and failing to sound like James Earl Jones. And then that is the version that gets published as an audiobook. Because live streaming video to YouTube, it just has a certain quality. You can't exceed a certain level of quality. So don't let this recording turn you. Let this be your like, oh, the author live reading his book. That's adorable. And then, you know, give a listen to the retail sample on thingy. Audible, audible.com, where all my books are sold. Listen to the retail sample and be like, ah, that's the final version. Yes, this sounds quite a bit better. So that's just for your informativeness. All right, here we go. Sound check. Nightblade, episode thingy by Thingy Thingy. I actually have a Nightblade script. Where is my text? Oh no. There we go. So, interesting thing to know, by the way, this week is the first week that I am adding a musical intro to the intro. I went online on a site that I have, and I found this big orchestral dun 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 dun. It's not the Game of Thrones scene, although that's what I started singing there. But it's I'm quite happy with it. So yeah, something to consider. I'm going to put this right over my face because I'm kind of out of. All right, so this will be the intro outro. I hate that breath at the beginning there. Living Art Books presents Nightblade, Episode 4, written and narrated by Garrett Robinson. You've been listening to Nightblade, Episode 4 by Garrett Robinson. For more of Garrett's books, visit garrettbrobinson.com. The intro outro is always so easy. Always gets harder from here. Nightblade, episode 4. And then, so we save the actual audiobook session, and then we export the audio, which, don't really need to do, but I like having it there. I'll listen, even before I mix it, if I'm out driving around or whatever, I'll pull it up on Dropbox, which is where all this stuff takes place, and I'll play it back just because. Don't need you, I need you. And then I need you. Okay. Oh, and by the way, so this is the narration for episode 4. However, when the first volume is completed, the first 8 episodes, that is going to be a complete packaged product. In other words, in the narration of the volume 1 audiobook, I'm not going to narrate and say, episode 4, chapter 1. So you'll hear me when I start each chapter, I'll say chapter 1, and then I'll say chapter 16, because in the volume it's going to be chapter 16, and it's just easier to do the recording at the same time. That breath. I always do that breath. Chapter 1. Random audio pop. God damn it. Chapter 1. Chapter 16. Lauren slipped, her boots scrabbling on the cobblestones as she almost pitched to the ground. Byrne tightened his vice-like grip on her shoulder, and she winced with pain. "Keep your feet, lest you lose them," growled Byrne. Fear scattered the thoughts in Lauren's mind. How had the constables found her so quickly? Where would they take her? The unfairness of it cut her to the bone. It was Zane they pursued, and Zane who should be in their clutches now. "I do not know where the wizard is," she pleaded. "Let me go. I've done nothing." Byrne did not reply. Lauren looked to Corin. The shorter constable's eyes met hers for a moment. His glare seemed resolute, but not so hateful as Byrne's. If she would find leniency with either of them, it would be with Corin. "I'm only a forester's daughter," said Lauren. "What do you want from me?" Corin's mouth turned down. "We have questions," he said. "You would do well to answer them honestly." "I've told you I know nothing." Her only further answer was silence. At a loss, she searched the streets around her for succor. She halfway hoped that Annis might return with some plan for her rescue. Eventually, the saliva just builds up, and you have to. She halfway hoped that Annis might return with some plan for her rescue, but Lauren had sent Annis's horse running, and in her heart of hearts she did not expect the girl to return. Nothing about the city seemed familiar. Lauren had only vague childhood memories of large buildings and winding streets. Now the buildings seemed smaller, but the streets no less confusing. After the first few turns round street corners, Lauren had swiftly lost any sense of direction. There seemed no rhyme or reason to the place, the roads as varied and directionless as the gaps between trees. It made her feel that she was in a strange and unknown forest, her woodcraft useless. Only a few men accompanied her, Corin and Byrne and 2 more. The other constables had chased after Annis in her headlong flight. Lauren hoped she might face no further punishment for aiding Annis's escape, but she would have done it again. Annis deserved a life free from her mother, at least. Thoughts of Damaris piqued Lauren's curiosity. "What happened to the merchant?" she said. "Is she slain?" Bur- Ugh. Ugh. Byrne snorted. His voice. Byrne snorted, his voice growing crueler. "She is within the city. In fact, she greatly desires to speak with you when she may." Byrne snorted, his voice growing crueler. "She is within the city. In fact, she greatly desires to speak with you when she may." Shock overcame Lauren's fear. "What? But her men attacked you." "Mayhap you should not have fled then," said Byrne. His fingers tightened again, and Lauren knew her skin would bruise. "Once you left, she halted the fighting and claimed the Magestones were your property." "The what?" said Lauren, utterly lost. Had a little audio pop there. I don't know if that came through on the YouTube. On the YouTube. "The what?" said Lauren, utterly lost. "We could not gainsay her without you there to defend yourself," said Corin, "though that may not have mattered in the end. The family of Yerin has a long reach, and their influence may be felt even within the walls of Cabras." "I'd have had their heads, and well justified," said Byrne. "But that blame goes to you, girl." "I don't even know what the things were," said Lauren. "Search Damaris's wagons. You'll find plenty more, I assure you." "Not now," said Corin. As she spoke, the mayor's envoy arrived with a writ of passage. Her wagons have no doubt been cleared, their cargo well hid. "And all thanks to you," said Byrne. Lauren felt sick. Annis's actions should have cast the king's justice toward Damaris, freeing Lauren to find safe passage to other lands. But it seemed she had aided the merchant's crimes after all, and earned Byrne's ire doing so. She was trapped, just as surely as when she traveled with Damaris's caravan. And without Annis or any other ally, her escape looked even less likely than before. The constables paused for a moment as a line of carriages proceeded through an intersection. Lauren's eyes flitted back and forth, seeking an opportunity. Byrne must have sensed it, for his grip tightened again. Lauren whimpered as stabbing pain shot through her shoulder. "You're hurting me." "Not near as bad as I'd like," said Byrne. Corin scowled. "If she'll be put to the question, let the mayor's men do it," he said. "It is not our place. Nor is it our place to lose the wizard's trail, nor allow smugglers of Magestone to wander unmolested. And yet we've done both," said Byrne. "I, for one, am tired of duties unfulfilled. And lest you forget, this one sent us on a wild chase through the birchwood while she escaped with our quarry." Corin's frown deepened, but he spoke no further. The carriages passed, and they went on. Lauren's feet, long used to dirt and grass underfoot, soon wearied on the cobblestones, and she stumbled more and more. Each time Byrne jerked her upright. Soon she cried out each time, and each time Corin's mood grew darker. But just as she thought he might speak again, they stopped. Above them loomed a building, fully 30 feet tall, and Lauren saw 3 rows of windows stretching across its width. She marveled at the sight. Nowhere in the birchwood had she ever seen a building with even a second floor. Then she looked closer at the top row of windows, and saw the thick steel bars that crossed them. A jail, then. 2 guards stood at the front door, and in their hands they carried halberds tall and gleaming. As Byrne drew close, one of the guards stepped forward to place his halberd across the entryway. "Hold," he said. "What's this?" "A prisoner for the cells," said Byrne. "I am Constable Byrne, and this is my companion Corin. We come from Garsec on the king's business. Let us pass, or we have another runaway to pursue." "The cells are full," said the guard. "We have no room." Byrne's face grew uglier. "Then take some pickpocket's hand and loose them. Our business is urgent." The guard drew up straighter, though still shorter than Byrne, and his eyes grew hard. "I take no orders from you. The master-at-arms has commanded that no more prisoners be brought here. Try the guard-house in the eastern district." "A walk that would cost us the rest of the day," said Byrne. "We have no time." "Still, my orders stand," said the guard stubbornly. "Where is your master-at-arms?" said Corin, adopting a diplomatic tone. "Perhaps we may speak with him and convey the urgency of our mission." The guard's eyes flitted to the broader constable. "His quarters are upstairs, though I doubt his mind will change, even for constables who claim to be on the king's business." Byrne stiffened at that, but Corin put a placating hand on his shoulder. "We'll attempt it, in any case. I will go." "No," snapped Byrne. "I'll have words, and when I'm through he'll wish he'd never held up the king's justice. Take the girl." Lauren found herself shoved into Corin's grip, too quickly to take advantage of the situation. Byrne took one of the other constables and vanished within the building. Corin guided her to the side of the doorway. If she would ever have a chance to sway his mind, it would be now. "Constable Corin," she began, "I swear to you, under the sky, I played no part in any scheme of the wizard's. He abandoned me as soon as we left the birchwood." Corin's face only grew more stern. "And before? When you sent us chasing shadows? When you stole supplies to place in the wizard's hands? You played no part in that, did you?" Lauren's face grew hot. I I did not know what crimes he may have committed." "Yet you knew we pursued him," said Corin. "You will face the king's justice for that, if nothing else. Now silence yourself while we find a place to keep you, for the time being." "And what then?" said Lauren. "I cannot imagine I will enjoy the comforts of a roof and daily bread forever." "We shall see," said Corin. "We should ready her for the cell, sir." Audio pop, random audio pop. Doesn't make sense, don't know where it came from. Bahaha. 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 "We should ready her for the cell, sir," said the other constable, the one who had walked with them through the city streets. "Take her weapons and such." Corin grunted assent. While the other constables took her arm, Corin knelt at Lauren's feet and squeezed her boots. Beneath the leather he felt her hunting knife, and his fingers plunged within to withdraw it. Then he stood and grasped her bow, prying it off her, but gently, so the string did not break. "Is that all?" said Corin. "It will go better for you if you speak the truth." Lauren thought for a moment of withholding the dagger, but he would only search her anyway, and lies would not help to sway his mood. "There is a dagger at my waist," she said. Corin nodded and threw back her cloak and froze. His grim face became a mask of shock. Lauren stared at him, eyes wide, unsure of what to do. "Sir?" Audio constable that makes the audio pop every time. Dooby-doo. "Sir?" said the constable at her arm. Corin seemed to recover himself. "That's enough here," he said. "Get up and see what is taking Constable Byrne so long." The constable looked at Lauren with a frown. "But, sir—" Every time I say his voice, the audio pops. That is the weirdest thing. Helps to... "But, sir—" "You have an order, constable," said Corin, his voice suddenly gruff. "Obey it." The man left with a final... See? That's a typo right there. The man left with a final doubtful look at Lauren. Not without one. That would be pointless. Why would I say that? The man left with a final doubtful look at Lauren. Under the gaze of the guard at the door, Corin seized Lauren's arm and marched her around the corner of the building. There she saw a narrow alley, and Corin pushed her just within its mouth. "Why did you not reveal yourself earlier?" he whispered. He glanced over his shoulder as though the king himself might hear. Lauren swallowed, her thoughts spinning. She had no idea what the constable meant, but he had sent away his only companion to speak with her alone. That had to mean something, and she must choose her words carefully. "I saw no reason to do so," said Lauren. "Why should I?" Corin glanced behind him again. "Hey, sweetie. You want to come say hi to YouTube?"
This is what happens when my husband doesn't answer his phone or tell me what he's doing.
What's up, sweetie?
I'm here to pick you up.
Oh, for the thing.
Yes.
Okay, I am a few paragraphs away from the end of the chapter.
The kids are in the car and they're like, "We want to go. We're staying."
Oh, they want to go to the party?
Yeah.
All right, YouTube, you heard my wife. It's time for me to go to a party. Thanks very much for tuning in for VlogaNovel. I will be back and finish narrating the rest of the audiobook tonight. See y'all later. Bye.